I read something really cool the other day about Lavell Malloy from the Bragg House.
Speaking of a great guy.
Yeah, there's a magazine called Impact Magazine that I look at, and they did a whole feature on him about this culture to capital playbook that he's doing. And guess who we got, since we're so important?
Lavell Malloy with
Lavell
us.
Malloy.
Back again, CEO, co-founder of Bragg House, ticker symbol TBH, the pride of the University
What an interview,
of Texas
man! What
Longhorns.
the heck? Look at you. Listen, I've been in the media for a long time. I don't even had an interview like that before. That's pretty slick, man. Congratulations.
He was the centerfold. That is awesome.
Well, I mean, what I thought was cool is that you brought up this that I hadn't heard you say before, and that's this Gen Z engagement model, which I've never even heard anybody say. But I'll tell you what, you know, it always harken back, and I need to have you and Dan Negroni in studio at the same time. Dan Negroni wrote the book Chasing Relevance, and he was the one who told us 5 years ago that 75% of our employees are going to be millennial, and 75% of our customers are going to be millennial, and we passed that up, and now it's Gen Z. It's really the same thing. Talk about the interview first of all, because it was pretty specific, and we'll put the link up on our website right below this interview for you.
No, it was good. It was really just I thank Impact Magazine for the opportunity, and what I got to explain was really how we were able to create this dynamic platform that engaged Gen Z to a digital home for them, but then was in a very authentic, unique way allowed that community then to be connected to brands. And by doing that, we did something, we allowed people to understand them. We gave them the joys of connecting them socially, with sports. So it was kind of pretty dynamic of what we've done. And that's kind of how we, as you guys have heard me say, that was kind of the playbook that we kind of set up in making that adoption.
Your vision we talk about with you each week is bridging culture and capital. But one thing that we haven't talked about, and I get a lot of email every time you're on the air about it, is this House of Doge, which is the corporate arm of Dogecoin. Can you explain that for people? Because remember, we've got audience members that are Mike's age, which is 70 today. Happy birthday, Mike. And we also have people that are in their 20s that really understand, and 30s and 40s. So can you explain that, to give a 101 primer, so to speak, on Dogecoin and House of Doge, and why that's important to you?
Yeah. So what they did is the foundation, that's the big juggernaut. They own all the licensing and everything, but there's a 501c3. So they said, well, they created a corporate arm, and that corporate arm allows to execute, and pretty much what, became important to us, how do we put Doge, their IP, that kind of stuff into kind of commerce and really just, make it a utility out of it. So what became, and I appreciated the opportunity to talk about it more. What is the relevance of the merger to us was really of building, I believe, it was going to be a financial structure unlike anyone's ever seen. A financial juggernaut built on payment processing, built on what we put together between data insights and media advertisement, built on, something that's important to me that I like a lot, which tokenization, which I do think is going to be kind of the future. And all these other rails and models of finance. And then again, why that's important to me is, one, it's really the next evolution of what we always want to do with our audience, give them a voice, and then take that voice, give them ownership. So that's really the relevance of it. I think it's an amazing opportunity. And obviously it's backed by a $30 billion, currency, but the metrics are really, really just the basic metrics of building a solid foundation.
Lavell Malloy is the CEO and co-founder of Bragg House. Their ticker symbol is TBH. Lavell, I finally convinced my dad many years ago to buy Bitcoin, and then his next question was, all right, so how many coins am I going to get after I make my purchase? But are you finding out this Gen Z, the millennials, because they're kind of growing up with it, they've grown up with it, that they're really adaptive to it?
I do. And that's a great point you mentioned, because this global thing that we're building, my role in the strategic adoption to it is taking that same playbook and really bringing it to the world. But what you mentioned, but the first adoption point is Gen Z. And we do find it's very, very, it's easier for them to relate to it.
Sure.
They're very digital a world. They understand it. We recently, as you know, one of the things we're doing with our Learfield partnership is we're doing a entire series of college sports, but that are going to be based on, gaming and the way we do everything. A series is about to come out, and we're going to incorporate, prizing and, ecosystem and companies who actually use Doge through the platform. And, it's been a resounding, like, people really, really like it because we're doing what we're doing, but we're just putting another currency and stuff that, is very, very understandable to them.
Hey, Lavell, when you talk about deploying this segment of the population, it reminds me that, baby boomers were much bigger than all of them, but nobody ever deployed them all at one time, right? I mean, could you imagine if you were yet 30 years younger, but doing the same technology? I mean, just the sheer numbers of this make the scalability of this, even at the smallest capture of that market. I think that's what you guys are seeing, right? That's what gets you excited. Is look, if we capture 0.001%, it's a $1 billion company, regardless, right? I mean,
exactly. And I think that's the thing too. It's like if you look what people I don't think understand exactly what you said is the sheer scalability. So, literally just taking the college market, we're not just doing every single sports inside of colleges. We're doing every single sport inside the college with hundreds of colleges, millions and millions of students. And the main focus of the only platform that they get to interact to connect them all is Bragg House.
Yeah, that's.
So if you think of it like that, that's a pretty massive,
Can I give you all the credibility you'll need? Although, as if not interviewing him every week, but Mike, do you know who is very familiar with Bragg House?
Who?
Our lead analyst, Howie Font.
Is he? Of course he is.
The smartest guy on the show.
Yeah.
Of course he is.
Lavell, before we let you out of here today, before next week's interview, I want to talk to you real quickly about what we've got a month left. I think it's now 5.5 weeks left in the year. Ugh. Okay, you're the CEO of a public company. I realize you can't tell us everything, but what are you most looking forward to? Let's say in the next 6 months to the next 12 months coming up, inclusive of the end of this year.
There's a lot of things I can't say, but one thing that I think is going to be really, really, really exciting is we're doing something pretty big with Learfield, and I think, like I said, that's the first adoption point. So I think you're going to see something very soon that's going to connect college sports with professional sports, and it's going to be something that only we're going to be it's going to be a first of its kind of what we're doing. So I think you're going to see that pretty soon.
His name is
Lavell Malloy, CEO, co-founder of Bragg House. Ticker symbol TBH. This is a rocket that is launching.
Thank you, brother.
It's already been
Good stuff. Really good stuff.